Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent. From the station that's on your side, News 12, first at 5, continues.
Good afternoon. It's a new federal report calling out shortcomings in the care of a local VA patient who died. Here it is right here, the report from the VA Office of Inspector General. It says in part, a patient went through a minimally invasive surgery here in Augusta, then died 13 days later in the intensive care unit while suffering alcohol withdrawal and declining health.
Our Sloan O'Cone joins us live from outside the VA now. So, Sloan, what sort of problems did the report find with the care given to that patient?
Well, the report looks at the care of the patient before and after the patient's surgery, and it found that the surgical team did all of their preoperative requirements correctly, but they happened to overlook the patient's overall poor health. And so they say that that was a combination of failures between the surgical team, care providers, and the nurses. Before the surgery, the OIG determined the care provider failed to address the patient's poor nutrition. They had lost 27 pounds in 8 months, and they also failed to show them multiple abnormal blood tests, which they failed to communicate to the patient within the time they were required to before the surgery. They didn't adequately address the abnormal chest images and failed to schedule and complete a barium swallow test. 2 days before the surgery, the patient reached out for help through a patient portal, complaining of being weak and unable to keep anything down. According to the report, the nurse who responded did not alert a care provider, call the patient, or suggest any other care. The report then goes on to say the provider's failures most likely contributed to the patient's poor health going into the surgery. Now, after the surgery, the report found the nurses did not correctly assess or treat the patient's alcohol withdrawal. They didn't give the patient the sedative the doctor ordered or monitor them correctly. The report says several of the nurses lacked the required training and competency to treat the withdrawal. They were also positioned incorrectly in their bed, which could have led to aspirations. The nurse stated it was to prevent the patient from trying to get out of the bed. Now, if you do want to read the rest of this report, we will have it posted on our website, Wrdw.com. But all of this comes after years of investigations, miscommunications, and some preventable deaths. I'll have a story coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock, diving deeper into the VA's checkered past.
Sloan, thank you for the live update there from Augusta's VA. Let's have a live look outside now. The county,
Just about 10 minutes.
The Richmond County Sheriff's Office responding to a shooting in Hepzibah this morning that left one person injured. All this happening around 9:30 in the morning on Carrington Court, right off Teakwood Drive. News 12 arrived a couple of hours after the initial call, and the scene was still active with yellow tape everywhere. We spoke with one neighbor who says he was in his kitchen making food when he heard around 8 gunshots before he knew what was happening.
At the kitchen window, and I saw one young man running up the street. And then I came to the front door. I could get a better view. And I saw one guy laying on the ground.
Robert Bain says officers brought the same man he saw running up the street back to the scene and eventually tended to the wounded man on the ground there, who he says appears to have been shot, have gunshot wounds. We're working on learning how the victim is doing and more information about that suspect.
A nonprofit is honoring fallen KC police officer and Monetta volunteer firefighter Andrew Barr. He was shot and killed in the line of duty last month while he was responding to a domestic call. The nonprofit Point 27 sent inscribed dog tag necklaces to the KC Police Department for his partner and the officers who served closely with him. They also sent folded flag necklaces for his parents. A suspect in a moving truck led Georgia State troopers on a high-speed chase this morning, ending in a crash at Washington and Bel Air roads. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office tells us it happened after a trooper tried to stop a rental truck that was involved in a hit and run. The driver didn't stop, and the chase ended in a crash, luckily with only minor injuries. For months, when you typed Bowen Turner into South Carolina's public index online for Orangeburg County, nothing would pop up, even though he had a pending first-degree criminal sexual conduct charge.
He's the teenager accused of multiple sexual assaults in multiple counties. As Katie Kamen reports, even after he pled guilty to assault and battery, his assault and battery conviction didn't show up either.
Turner is accused of 3 sexual assaults in 3 counties. Court documents show he also violated the terms of his house arrest more than 50 times while out on bond to go to restaurants, golf courses, and even across state lines. But if you wanted to look at any of Turner's court records for the Orangeburg County case, you had to go in person to the courthouse. Unlike like other defendants whose charges, bond information, and other details would all show up online. So we got our attorneys involved. They sent the Orangeburg County Clerk of Court this letter, arguing the public's right of access to the public docket was being violated. The letter requested that Turner's case be made available in the public index, especially because the public has a, quote, strong presumption of access to court records. In an email, the Orangeburg County Clerk of Court says, quote, we are aware it is not showing up on public index. The reason it is not showing up on public index is because it was first put in the system as a juvenile case and then transferred to a general sessions case. We have contacted the help desk to get this matter corrected, but they informed us it cannot be changed. The sister of one of Turner's victims says she doesn't buy it.
That's unexcusable. That's a ridiculous response. I think it's a danger, and I'm extremely concerned about it.
And here's media law attorney Jay Bender's take on it.
Why the Orangeburg County courts do not have their records up to date is a mystery to all, and you can either say it's incompetent, lack of staff, or somebody benefiting from a cover-up.
Turner's latest charges that came last week, disorderly conduct, possession of alcohol by a minor, and threatening a public employee, do show up in the public index. It's just the charges relating to the alleged sexual assault in Orangeburg County that don't show up.
So Turner is expected to appear in court in June for another bond hearing. A judge denied him bond last week for violating his probation. Doctors Hospital taking a moment to honor paramedics and EMTs. They're recognizing a team for successfully resuscitating someone, which means the team saved their life. The team is honored with a Phoenix coin, which is a medal to recognize these first responders. Congratulations on them and for all our first responders do. 50,000 toys, 500 wagons. It is a mission nearly a decade in the making. That's ahead on News 12, first to 5.
And if you think it was hot out there this afternoon, we're increasing our high temps 5 to 10 degrees over the next few afternoons. Have a look at some near record highs just after the break.
Riley, thank you. Check out the difference 7 years can make. It's another year, and that means 16-year-old Gracie Chapin is donating another round of Wagons of Hope to children's hospitals. Now she's a sophomore at Fox Creek High School in Edgefield County.
But as our Will Milk reports, Gracie's mission is close to her heart, and it started many years ago.
It's crazy just knowing how far it's grown.
Gracie Chapin's amazed at what Lil G's Wagons of Hope has done over the last 10 years. She started it when she was 6 after her best friend received a leukemia diagnosis.
She lost all of her hair, going through treatment and everything. So my mom and I decided to cut all of our hair off, and we probably donated 17 inches altogether. My little 6-year-old self was like, nope, this is not enough. We got to do more.
So she sold almost all her toys at a yard sale. Gracie wanted to use the money she raised to help the children's hospital.
We called the hospital and we asked what they wanted. And they said that they needed toys, but they really needed wagons.
She says it's because kids feel more comfortable riding in wagons than wheelchairs.
I see kids all the time in the wagons whenever I go up there. And it means a lot knowing that it means a lot to them.
They donated more than 50,000 toys and 500 wagons to hospitals across the country over the last decade.
That's crazy, just knowing how it's grown. Because, you wouldn't expect it to start just from 10 wagons and then it grow to this.
Gracie loves seeing how much it's grown, and she's excited to see it grow some more. In Augusta, Will Volk, on your side.
Such a great cause, and it proves that it doesn't matter how old you are to make a difference.
Yeah, one person can make a difference.
Yeah, and Gracie is planning a donation for her birthday in about 2 weeks, so she's still giving back.
She hopes to collect 5,000 toys and 25 wagons, which would be her biggest donation ever. If you'd like to help her out, we have a link on our website so you can join in. But, well done, Gracie.
Absolutely, yeah. Congratulations on your efforts. Well, you've likely heard about the live streaming channel Twitch, but you may not know anything about it. Coming up, what it is and how it played into the deadly mass shooting in Buffalo.
Fort Gordon families living in dangerous housing, they said made them sick. Now lawmakers are taking action after a News 12 I-Team investigation, chasing the truth, getting results. News 12 on your side.
Today, the President and First Lady visited Buffalo to pay their respects at the grocery store where a gunman killed 10 people and 3 others over the weekend. Social media posts revealed the alleged gunman had been planning his attack for months. The posts say he picked a particular zip code because it had the highest percentage of a black population close enough to where he lived.
Before the Buffalo shooter started firing shots at those innocent bystanders, he turned on the camera and then streamed the horrifying minutes live where other people could watch. And he used a live streaming platform, Twitch.
Well, you may have heard the name, you may not know a whole lot about it. Jamie Tucker takes a peek at that social network used by millions of people every day.
Well, first we must point out that while the shooting over the weekend was live streamed on Twitch, similar crimes have live streamed on other platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, and others. All the user has to do is have the app on their phone and tap the Go Live button. But you're probably wondering, what is Twitch?
Twitch is primarily for video gaming, where users can watch people play video games. This streamer is playing Elden Ring, and several thousand people are watching him. If there's a video game out there, someone's playing it and streaming live. But it isn't all fun and games. There are talk shows, live music, artists, and ASMR. Around 1,000 Twitch users are watching this streamer licking and kissing a microphone. Some live streams are intended for mature audiences, but anyone of any age can still watch by clicking OK unless their account is restricted. There are chat windows where viewers can respond and chat with one another. Since it is live, there is quite a bit of profanity in some of the chat rooms. Twitch has increased monitoring for hate messages and sexual content. Twitch is one of the fastest growing social networks according to its website. Over 2.5 million viewers are watching at any given moment, and there are 31 million average daily users.
Is Twitch safe for kids? Any platform that allows users to go live from anywhere doing anything so easily, there is always a risk that they're going to see something parents don't want them to watch. Twitch encourages parents to monitor their kids' use of the platform, what they're watching, how much time they're spending in the app, and to block direct messages from people they don't know. That's What the Tech. I'm J.D. Tucker.
And Twitch says it took down that live stream of the Buffalo shooting within 2 minutes after the shooting started.
The platform is owned by Amazon, and they do have employees who monitor live streams in real time, and they respond to reports of any streams that violate their code of conduct. The Shepherd Community Blood Center is sending you a big thank you. We're learning 45 people came out to donate at the blood drive we hosted here last week. They collected 30 units of blood, which is enough blood to save 90 local lives.
Of course, they always need more blood, so you still, if you want to donate, you can sign up for an appointment at any of their centers. We have a link to do that on our website. But yes, thanks for those donations.
Huge turnout. The Pga Championship begins Thursday, and as you'd expect, a lot of eyes will be on Tiger Woods this week. Sports director Nick Proto joins us live in the studio with what Tiger is saying ahead of the first round.
Tiger Woods resumes his quest for his 16th major championship this week. Last time we saw Tiger on the course, he was visibly struggling with the hills here at Augusta National. But Tiger's beaten the odds before, and he's hoping to do it again. Tiger is part of a stellar grouping for the first two rounds, teeing up with Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth. Those three guys have combined 22 major victories, including 6 PGA championships. Less than a year and a half removed from his accident, Tiger says he's feeling stronger than he did even just a month ago at the Masters.
I still have tough days, and things aren't going to be as easy as people might think, but I feel like I'm doing better. I'm having more days in which are better, more positive, able to practice a little bit longer, so I'm able to do activities and things that I was hoping to do, and I'm finally able to do them.
Worth a mention, the last time the PGA Championship was played at Southern Hills in Oklahoma, where it's played this year, was 2007. The winner of that tournament, Tiger Woods. More sports coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
All right, nice little fact there, Nick. Thanks for that. Weekend forecast for us here locally. We're going to stay on the warmer side, but we also are going to bring back some storm chances each afternoon, so try to get those outdoor plans in early. Now look at that full 7-day just after the break.
You know, when you hear the word sinkhole, you might think of something like this or even this. Well, this morning in Augusta, crews were out on Washington Road in Evans repairing what they called a sinkhole at Faircloth Drive, but there's a closer look at it. The work did cause some lane closures. While the hole isn't quite a car-swallowing chasm yet, it never hurts to be proactive. And in all fairness, we don't know how big the space is underneath the asphalt because they can really surprise you, Riley, about what's opened up underneath there. So
Absolutely.
taking no chances out there on Washington Road.
Yeah, those cars are still getting pretty close to it. I don't know if I would get that close to it, but scary stuff there on Washington Road. Hey, a great...
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
First at 6 o'clock, a new report from the Office of the Inspector General sheds some light on the death of a patient at the Charlie Norwood VA.
This report comes from a healthcare inspection conducted after the patient died at the facility in Augusta, fall of 2020.
The patient was there for a minimally invasive surgery and died 13 days later. The OIG found a number of failures on behalf of the VA staff.
News 12 Sloan O'Connor spent the day digging into this 44-page report. She's live now outside the VA with details.
Well, the patient was in their 70s and had been receiving care from the VA since 1997. The report explains how the provider's failures most likely contributed to the patient's overall poor health going into the pre-operative phase of care. Then several missteps were taken during that phase. And after the surgery, the nurses did not have the adequate training to care for the patient. But what the report goes on to mention are previous investigations since 2019 where a lot of the missteps overlap. Prior investigations cite issues with inefficient hiring processes, inadequate communication, non-compliant practices that contributed to, quote, adverse patient clinical outcomes, lack of consistent documentation, care deficiencies that likely contributed to a patient's death, and deficiencies in care coordination between facility staff and telemedicine ICU staff, which are similar issues in this most recent investigation. Before the surgery, the OIG determined the care provider failed to address the patient's poor nutrition. They lost 27 pounds in 8 months, and multiple abnormal blood tests, which the VA failed to communicate to the patient within the time they were required to before the surgery. They didn't adequately address the abnormal chest images and failed to schedule and complete a barium swallow test. 2 days before the surgery, the patient reached out for help through a patient portal, complaining of being weak and unable to keep anything down. According to the report, the nurse who responded did not alert a care provider, call the patient, or suggest any other care. The report goes on to say the provider's failures most likely contributed to the patient's poor health going into the surgery. Now, after the surgery, the report found the nurses did not correctly assess or treat the patient's alcohol withdrawal. They did not give the patient the sedative the doctor ordered or monitor them correctly. The report says several of the nurses lacked the required training and competency to treat the withdrawal. They were also positioned incorrectly that could lead to aspiration. The nurse stated it was to prevent the patient from trying to get out of the bed. And at the end of the report, the OIG did list off 10 different recommendations for the VA to ensure that something like this doesn't happen again. They recommended having proper alcohol withdrawal training, how to place patients in bed correctly, and just more control on getting patients those adequate levels of care. Now, the VA did send us a statement earlier today. It says, in part, Charlie Norwood VA Medical Center is dedicated to providing high-quality, compassionate care to our veterans. As a part of this commitment, Charlie Norwood VA Medical Center continues to implement new processes and the necessary quality reviews to ensure the veterans we are entrusted to serve receive the highest quality of care. They went on to say they have started implementing a lot of these recommendations, like the alcohol withdrawal training and same-day care. The full statement and report are on Wrdw.com.
All right, thanks for that, Sloan. And for years, we have been tracking problems at the VA, including some colonoscopies that happened with dirty equipment. We have that for you on our website. And this really just the latest in a series of failures our I-team has been investigating when it comes to local military families. Just a few weeks ago, I was in Washington, D.C., when the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations held a hearing about military housing at Fort Gordon. For more than a decade, we've exposed problems on posts, some so serious it made local families sick. Senator John Ossoff and his team cited our reporting in their work that has now prompted the Army to launch its own investigation at Fort Gordon. I'm working on an update about that, and we'll have much more coming up Thursday. Furthermore, just last week during another hearing on Capitol Hill, Army leaders acknowledged sexual harassment is, quote, rampant. so rampant, leaders have moved prevention training to a soldier's first 72 hours instead of during week 2. They say top brass will continue to meet monthly to work on ways to make the service environment better for everyone.
Much more news to come. Right now, we're going to give you a live look.
Expecting low temps down into the mid to upper 50s by tomorrow morning. So not a bad start to our Wednesday. We'll take a look at how long this heat sticks around, just about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Riley. Happening in commission, city leaders give the green light to build more affordable housing in Augusta.
The plan is to build more homes in the Laney Walker neighborhood. That's where News 12's Kennedy Harris joins us live from Twig Circle in Kennedy. You say these new homes will be in addition to some affordable options already under construction?
Yeah, Richard, the housing efforts continue here in Laney Walker. These two homes behind me are just two of the newest homes to be built, but housing is needed county-wide. Now, this new federal funding could be a way to bring more dollars elsewhere.
We have 1,100 acres located in the area. A good majority of it is blighted.
For years now, houses have been popping up in Laney Walker.
It's really been a growing experience for myself to watch mixed use development take place on what's so-called the other side of the tracks.
Carcom is the development manager for the project. The plan is to revitalize the area by creating affordable workforce housing. It increases the area income enough to attract more people and more development.
Right now, we are in a classified food desert. Without the household incomes, there is no grocery source.
Housing is a need outside of Laney Walker, too.
Just even in our multifamily market, we're pricing people out of that.
Augusta will receive $3.8 million in federal funding for housing thanks to Senators Ossoff and Warnock. Mayor Davis would like to see the money invested in one area like the South Side.
But these need to be targeted dollars that really expand a community of interest where there have been underserved people for far too long.
The money is separated into specific housing needs, including building low to moderate income housing and helping those on the verge of homelessness. It'll be up to the commission to decide how and where the money will be spent.
Any dollar to help build more homes in the community is necessary.
Now, Mayor Davis says they're still in the early stages of planning how to use this money, but as we get updates, we'll be sure to bring them to you.
Please do. We can't get them online fast enough for all those families. Kennedy, thanks very much. One thing they like out there, Riley, is clear weather for all that construction.
Absolutely. We have beautiful